Good evening. Welcome to the August 13th meeting of the Manchester Town Council. Apologize for keeping everybody waiting tonight. It's running from something else, literally. Just scooted in here at the last second. First order of business is a public hearing on ordinance 213 and 214. Should have copies of. So to recap, Kelly, do you mind recapping for us here, or Steve, while we're getting situated?
Okay, ordinance number 213 is a change to our water ordinance in regards to the increase of the water supply fee as it relates to development within the town limits. I think, Mayor Warner, you explained it very well at the last meeting, that no matter whether you're building one home in Manchester or 100 homes, what we found through our water study is the increase in the cost as far as supplying water for those individual houses or a development. And that would be increased as per the change in the ordinance to $14,500 per EDU or equivalent dwelling unit.
Okay. Is anyone here to speak on ordinance 213? Anyone here to speak on ordinance 214?
To recap ordinance number 214, these are changes in the zoning code that were brought forth to the mayor and the council at a recommendation of our planning and zoning commission. There are numerous changes in there. Some of the changes are basically housekeeping issues. Some of the changes relate to some things over the years that we found some things work out better than others. So this was recommended several months ago by the Manchester Planning and Zoning Commission on that.
Again, anyone wish to speak on either proposed ordinance? Hearing none, entertain a motion to close the public hearing, move into general session.
I'll make a motion we close the public hearing and move into general session.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We are called the regular meeting to order. So I guess for the minutes, Councilman Pacelli and Councilman Wilder are not present tonight due to vacation season, usually missing one person or another this time of year. First order of business, approval of the July 9th minutes.
I make a motion we approve the July 9th minutes.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Second order of business is receipt of the July Treasurer's Report. We have a motion to receive the Treasurer's Report and check register.
Make a motion to receive the treasurer's report for July and the check registry.
I second that.
Motion and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And moving on down the list, we have something that we had years ago that we haven't had in a while, which is a youth representative to the council. So tonight is her first night. It's Mrs. Natalie Singer is over here sitting next to the Public Works Director and the Director of Finance. So would you guys like to give a brief introduction? And then maybe Natalie, I don't know if you came prepared to speak on a couple things, but Steve has been keeping the council abreast. Natalie has a pretty solid resume. We're looking forward to working with her over the next year or so as she is finishing up high school. Steve Miller has really done a good job of organizing some activities that she's going to be really good at doing that's also going to help the town. So we're pretty excited about working with Natalie over the next year. Yeah. It's not always this exciting. We don't always. It's a fishing derby and tax increases is when you see a room like this. So this one's good. The other one is not quite as positive. Yeah. Okay. next order of business is the fishing derby. So we have,
Signing all the papers.
almost. Steve, do you want to give a brief introduction on a few of the activities you have for Natalie and maybe kind of how she's going to fit in?
Sure. As Mayor Warner mentioned, a few years back, we had a youth representative that would bring ideas back to the mayor and the council as far as a point of view from a youth in the community. And I thought it would be good to bring that back. And while I was thinking about that, I wanted also to try to mesh Manchester Valley High School in with town government because of the resources that they have at Manchester Valley. So I kind of put my feelers out, and Natalie stepped up to the plate. Kelly and I met with her a few weeks ago, and we were very impressed with her resume, for her future endeavors. But I think a couple of the ideas that we had, and I've also received some ideas back from the council, is we would like to get Natalie involved in creating a Facebook page for the town. We would also like to get the horticultural class at Manchester Valley involved to possibly put some planters out on Main Street to brighten Main Street up a little bit. We also talked about using their media center to do a small little walk around town with showing our park system, showing the churches throughout the town, and we can air that on the local cable channel as well as our own local channel. So there's a lot of things that Natalie brings to the table that we can incorporate using the resources at the high school and using Natalie's resources. So, but again, Kelly and I met with her for a half an hour or 45 minutes, and I was very impressed with what she brings to the table to this group. So I'm glad to have you on board, Natalie.
Welcome.
Okay. Now I think we might be ready for the fishing derby. So before we get to the end, and as you guys are getting set up here, I want to thank you guys for continuing to do this. I know I have a teenager now, and I had him out there on just after his first birthday, I think. So it's been, you know, yeah, when he yelled at somebody for throwing that catfish back, I think. But, yeah. But yeah, it's a great event. You guys do a great job. It's been, you know, a lot of years now with a lot of kids in Manchester have had a, you know, really good time. Introduced them to fishing in the outdoors, and it's one of the real positive events I think we have going here in town.
It's been 17 years.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, first we have the younger age group, Jessica Marie Briones. She caught a largemouth bass, 9 inches, 8 ounces. You have to give her. She also caught a salmon.
All right.
I did want to say one thing. We had a tough day at the pond. The weeds have gotten so bad that we're going to go ahead and move it down to Christmas Tree Park Pond because it's affected the fishing. But we did make a couple catches and a couple oddball significant catches.
Okay, the rest are just thanks for your participation. Jonah Hughes, which I don't see him here today. McKenna Dean and Logan Dean, are they here? I don't see them either. Kevin Garcia is not here either. We do have Jessica Sadowski. She caught a bluegill that was 4 inches and 1 ounce. And she also caught the first bullfrog in 17 years. That was her specialty. We should get 2 of them. Did you? No, you didn't. Okay, and then, send those off, and then Jenna Hollingshead, and it's my granddaughter. Andrew York. Poor kids are having a tough time catching anything. So next year, we will have it at Christmas Tree Park.
Congratulations. I would like to say one thing, and as the mayor reiterated about getting your kids involved in the outdoors and everything. I fish semi-professionally myself. I've been doing since I was in my 20s, and I'm in my 60s now. One of the things I remember, I went to a show, and one of the pros, and he's actually still fishing. He always says at the end of his seminars, take a kid fishing. How many kids have you seen standing before a judge with a hunting license or a fishing license in his wallet? So there's a lot of truth to that. So thanks, everybody. In the 17th year, and I would like to mention one thing. One of the fellows that helped us out since we started, and he actually was my liaison between Mrs. Collette and getting this started, was Ronnie Aller. He passed away in October, and he helped out for 16 years. So I just would like to mention his name. Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys. Thanks again. Look forward to seeing you guys here next year after Christmas Tree Park event. And hopefully that turns out to be a good venue.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
makes it a little bit better shape.
a little more space out there, too. Yeah, and I've been up there.
That's where we originally had it to begin with.
Oh, it's
When
before
it
my
started.
time. Before my time, yeah. Yeah, I've been up here with mine a couple of times, and there's a lot of algae and stuff. It's tough
And
to.
one thing I
fish.
did mention was that we have kids that participated as kids are bringing their kids now. And that's saying something. We remember them when they come as kids.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Is it? Yes. We're getting down to our core group here of regulars. Not gonna button my shirt. Moving on to the mayor's report. Again, I want to welcome Natalie, and Natalie, you're gonna see a good cross-section of meetings. They're all different, so hang in there. Yeah, you'll see how they go. So. I want to announce, something, the unfortunate passing, I guess not unfortunate, but he has a long career of a bit of a hometown doctor, Dr. Will Ford. And I know a few of his family members had coached his grandson in wrestling, so he was many people in town that have been around for a while are familiar with Dr. Ford, and I think in a conversation with Steve is kind of known as still doing house calls for multiple generations of people that lived in and around town. So long career, and certainly saddened to hear of his passing. I'd like to thank Steve Miller and the town staff for one, really being a leader on this really upcoming stormwater management issue that we're all going to have to deal with. And I know some of the folks that are new to the council is kind of like it's a lot to take in, but Steve hosted Tom Delabis from the county up here recently, and it was a very informative session. So Steve, nice job, and Steve continues to be on the forefront of really knowing what is coming down the pipe with these things and keeping, allowing us to access to that information as, we all do different things during the day. So we really have a good resource here in town to stay abreast of that stuff. And then hopefully this is coming to an end, but I'm going to go ahead and loop the police report in with my mayor's report. As those of you know that have been following this issue, we re-advertised for the position. That was closed August the 2nd. I believe we have on or about 20 resumes this time, which is a few more than last time. So those of you, on the council, if you haven't picked up your packet, we're gonna reshuffle the deck, so to speak, in the process that we're using to do this, and I want all of you guys to participate at whatever level is going to make sense, given still the criteria of, we want to get to a good answer, and we don't want it to take another year, because it has taken a year to date. So, you guys all can peruse the resumes. All ideas on how to move forward will be considered, although I'll say, probably having 17 people interview 20 people and the permutations that would take, is not really, feasible. But, if you have ideas on what you think should be done from this point, let me know. Councilman Wilder and I have had a few conversations on, kind of how we'd like to see things go in the next steps. But I want everybody that, is going to have a stake in this to have a say in it. So that's where that stands. Moving on, Town Administrator report. Steve?
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. We'll go ahead and start with the July administrative report. Under pending items, we do have a update meeting with Sheets' representatives on the MTBE issues, and that will be held Monday, September the 9th at 2 p.m. here at Town Hall. I would recommend for the mayor and as many councilors can make it to be present for that update meeting. There has been no change in the State Highway Administration projects. The Maryland Department of Transportation projects pre-tour meeting will be held on Thursday, September the 5th at 1:30 in room 003 of the county office building. I will be attending that. Unfortunately, I will be out of town when the actual tour meeting takes place with the MDOT secretary on Thursday, September 19th at 1:30, again in room 003 of the office building. I would recommend, if any way possible, if we could have a representative there to voice our opinion in regards to the traffic situation on Route 30, and also to express our concerns in regards to the possibility of a westerly path for the Route 30 bypass around Manchester, if any way possible. Under the solar project, Councilperson Wilder, Kelly, and myself met with Ken Donathan from Earth and Air Technology on July 23rd in regards to questions that he had regarding the CQI study. There was discussion, I know, throughout the mayor and the council via email, and I actually need some direction on continuing this project. I know we don't have a full council here tonight. If we want to table that till the September meeting, that's fine. But I do need some direction on that. Our energy grant is still moving forward. Of course, tonight we appointed Natalie Singer as our youth representative. Our Sustainable Communities Work Group. We had our second meeting on July the 10th. I've received numerous letters of support from the groups such as the Merchants Association, the Lions Club. Tonight, the resolution from the mayor and the council is on the agenda, and our next meeting is scheduled for September the 4th at 2 p.m. at Town Hall, so if anybody would be interested in coming to that. Very good meeting. We're moving forward on that. Actually, to add to that, our contractor or subcontractor has probably 60 to 75% of the application completed. So I'm very impressed with what they've done so far. Under new construction, construction continues. Code enforcement, same thing. Enforcement continues. Under miscellaneous items, I attended the WRCC meeting on July 24th. The sale of the 2004 Dodge Intrepid. We did receive 2 bids on that, but I am taking that off the agenda because we have some issues with that car that I can't sell that vehicle in the condition it's in. I don't think that's good business for the town, so I want to get those issues resolved before we put it back out on bid again. Also, for your information, the Manchester Valley High School Maverick Stampede will be held on August the 28th, and that starts at 7 p.m. And if nobody's ever been to that, that's very fun. That's a fun day. We have a lot of vendors out there, a lot of Miller's Markets there, the band boosters are there, the athletic club's there, and I don't know if I'm going to be running this year, but maybe my wife and I'll walk it this year. So.
Did you run last year, Steve?
I did not.
Oh.
I did
Did
not.
you run it, Natalie?
Or the year before. I'm not on a team, see?
They invited me last year and told me I got to ride
Not
around.
even a bocce ball team.
Not the bocce ball team.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Very good. Very good.
Sign him up.
Okay, moving ahead to the July Public Works report. Under water, you have in front of you the monthly water and wastewater status report. Of course, all of our wells and our supply looks very good because of all the rainfall we have. And our average gallons per day is right in the ballpark where it should be at this time of year. One thing, you can look at that report, you can look at the previous month for June compared to July, and you can see that people are finished topping off their pools. And we'll continually see that number to drop over the next several months on that. Under the high school water pumping station, a training was held last Thursday, August the 8th, and startup was scheduled for the week of the 19th. That may be pushed back about a week till we get those wells online, that station online. The emergency response plan for our water system is pretty much complete. We're going through the proofreading stages right now. The Holland Drive Pump Station repiping project, that's complete. We did have a lightning strike on 7/23 that affected our Walnut Street water station, and also the same storm that came through damaged the flow meter out at our irrigation facility. So both of those items have been taken care of. You also have in front of you tonight, which is an action item, is the water sewer abatement administrative policy change. That was the change that Mayor Warner had directed staff to make some changes to in regards to residents that have leaks and have a meter pit. So I sent out an email explaining all that, so you have that in front of you for approval tonight. Also, the last item in water, over the last 10 years, we have been trying to find someone to demolish our old York Street water tank for scrap. The companies we talked to, they were going to charge the town to tear down the tank. Well, two of our public works people, Ken Black and David Brown, contacted the company. The company came in, looked at it. All the paperwork's been taken care of, and the demolition started yesterday on the old York Street tank. So hats off to them, and that should be completed within the next several weeks. So everything's moving ahead on that project. Another action item under wastewater, you have a bid in front of you for a replacement truck. We'll come back to that. I talked a little bit about the lightning strike there at the irrigation facility. Under NPGS Stormwater and Watershed Implementation Plan, I had a meeting with the mayors throughout the county. I attended a meeting with the mayors on July 17th. And of course, as Mayor Warner spoke, we had our informational meeting with the county reps on August the 5th. Under maintenance roads and parks, we removed some hazardous trees along Friday Mill Road, which is an access, also the access road to the Halley Hills 1 wellhead. Our application for community parks and playground, the Project Open Space Grant was submitted on July 31st, and that was for an inclusive playground at Christmas Street Park. Excuse me, the street resurfacing project started August 5th.
Good?
That's it.
I don't know if you're taking a break or just needed to get it
Yeah.
done.
Yep.
So we had a couple of action items in there. The water sewer has its own bullet points, so we'll hold that one for now. Do we need a motion to pull that 2004 Intrepid off of the bid system, or we okay with this?
No, we're fine. We're gonna get it repaired and then put it back on.
And does it make sense, I don't know what kind of bids we're gonna get on it, to have it repaired and put it back out, or do we scrap it or send it to auction, or would it be a better option for us?
I think we could probably do better if we put it out on bid.
Okay.
Well, I'll check into that. I'll check into
I mean,
it.
if we spend $1,000 fixing it and we sell it for 15, I don't know what we're selling for, you know what I mean?
I think the repairs, I think if I put a limit of maybe $300 or $400 on the repairs, I think it would be well worth putting it out on bids. But if we go over that, then
Yeah, I just don't
then we
wanna-
have to reconsider.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll handle that. The truck bid, are we good to move ahead with that?
That is a replacement truck for our wastewater division, and that replaces a 2003 Chevrolet utility truck. I believe we talked today, and I don't have my sheet in front of me. I think the current truck has, there it is, 63,500 miles. We were able to piggyback onto the state of Maryland procurement process, and we have budgeted 48,000, and this came in at 47.7, and of course, we will sell that 2003 one bid. So I would venture to say we would probably get $4,000 to $5,000 for that truck. So we're well under our budget for this.
Okay. So we have a bid of 47.7 and a budget of 48. We have a motion to accept the bid from Apple Ford.
I'll make a motion, we accept the bid from Apple Ford for 47.7.
Second.
Second.
This motion second. Anybody have any questions for Steve on this? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Steve, am I missing one here? I was trying to keep track of these as we
The
went.
water sewer abatement administrative policy change.
Yeah, I have that.
And the solar project?
Solar project is the one I'm missing.
Yeah.
So, like I said, big picture, Steve and the staff need some direction on which way to go.
I'll make a motion that we table it.
Table it till September,
I'll second.
or table it permanently, which kind of,
I'd probably take it off the table permanently. There seems to be a lot of concerns that we're gonna have to definitely, take action on mandated issues, so as to not overtax everybody with concerns, let's just table it, move on.
so and I'm on board with you. I just wanted to make sure if we were directing them to tell these guys we're holding off for a month, or we're just gonna remove it from consideration for now, until the landscape changes a little
Yeah,
bit.
I mean, I think we've had a lot
I
of
mean-
discussion about it
Yeah.
via email and some other ways, so I mean, I agree.
Okay.
So if you make a motion, I'll second that.
So do we want to hold it off or just permanently take it off
Well, I think we can,
we want to revisit it
Why
in
don't- why
a
don't we,
year and see if the market changes?
Is there a
or-
timeline that,
and I'm making a suggestion, maybe we suspend consideration of installing, a solar field in Manchester. I don't know, until more questions can be answered. I don't know how we want to exactly word that, but I think, this is my opinion, but then you guys have to make a motion in the direction, is that based on all the information we've gathered to date, the landscape isn't there for the cost benefit to be worth it. That we're better off sticking with what we have for now. But those are my words.
I feel like there's a lot of what ifs, and we have a lot of questions, and I just.
Yeah. I think overall, the idea of, right, getting energy from the sun and creating green energy as a renewable source is a positive thing. The deals that are on the table right now don't make sense for Manchester, in that there's too many unknowns in the middle term, which I'll say 5 to 10 years, which could lead to more expensive electricity for the residents of Manchester. That's kind of where, that's what my opinion is.
I think Councilperson Black, I'm kind of looking ahead to see what unfunded mandates are being brought down the pike, and we will have to pick up the tab. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. I think until the fiscal climate changes a little bit, as far as solar is concerned, I think we should not make it a priority. Maybe keep it in the back of our mind, but at this time, just shelve it for right now.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that's what I was getting at, is I don't want to vote this down and say that we're never going to consider this, because it makes sense to consider it, but it has to make sense to do it too.
Right.
Well, I just want to say for the record that I am totally in support of solar energy. I think it's the way we should be going, but I think that we don't have the time or the educational effort that we're willing or able to put into this project and there are other things that are superseding our time and our resources right now.
Correct.
It's an unfortunate timing thing, because I think we're probably going to regret we didn't go with solar energy, because we do have the land resources and the capacity to do something like this, where many other towns will never have that opportunity. But we are at a place where we could in Manchester. That's unfortunate. But because there's so many concerns, and we have been dealing with this now since I first came on the council, it's over 2 years that we've been talking about solar energy and haven't made not one move. And so now we have a whole new set of folks coming on, and they've got quote-unquote concerns, and I'm concerned because they have concerns, and I just think that we need to just move on with this thing and deal with what we have to deal with, because unfortunately, if we all have concerns about stormwater management, too bad.
That's it.
We have to deal with it anyway.
There's no choice.
You gotta suck it up and deal with it, and educate yourself on what are our best choices. And if we're not, we don't have that luxury with many things on the table right now, but we do have that luxury, if you will, with solar. So,
Like I said, we have the resources, and that land's not going anywhere. It's going to be there.
that's right. The investment opportunities may not be there,
Or they may be better.
and we'll lose out. But we're not mandated to do solar energy.
Right. There's too many other things right now that are pressing. It's,
Just unfortunate
I'm
timing.
for it also, but I'm not sure that this is the right program. I have some concerns about what it's gonna entail and how much we have to put into it down the road. Somebody to take care of it, and they said that the equipment only lasts 25 years. How much is it gonna cost to replace it? So that's my concern, that this might not be the right project to do that.
I mean, we're gonna be gambling with the cost of electricity in 25 years as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, we
it's
are,
really,
definitely.
it's a gamble.
I mean,
either
really,
way.
it's 6 of
unfortunately.
one, half a dozen of the other, and so we're just gonna have to bite the bullet and deal with traditional electric sources. The co-op that we're currently a part of is one bit of comfort in the whole process, that we can at least say we're a part of a utility co-op. But we're gonna have to buck it up on the stormwater management and some other mandated, non-funded things that we're gonna have to absorb the cost in, so. So I make a motion that we take the solar project off of the agenda and revisit it as new resources or opportunities present themselves.
I'll second that.
I think that's worded well. Motion and second, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries. So that's the direction on that. We can jump into the administrative policy here in a second. We have that on the agenda. Was there any other thing that was an action item, Steve, that we're missing?
I believe that was it.
Okay.
Yes, that's it.
Next item is a resolution designating specific areas and adopting sustainable community plan. So, Tammy, do you want to, I know you're involved in this.
I think that Steve did a good job kind of summarizing just the most recent activity with the Sustainable Work Group, and Michelle and council put together the resolution to designate specific portions of the town as a sustainable community pursuant to there's a community map and a plan, and I think it's a solid document. It's a good foundation to move forward for sustainable communities, and I think we're ready to move on this. And as Steve said, the contractors we've worked with have 60% of the application done, so
Yep.
I think
Looks
that we're
good.
well on our way to moving forward on this area. And this is a smart financial move that we're making that's going to carry us forward. For how long is the app good for? It's a long time.
Yeah, 10 to 12 years. I
Yeah,
believe.
so it's a good decision that we're investing in now, and we've had really, really, I think, amazing support and activity from the town and the
Actually,
representatives.
If I could add one thing, and I have two reps here. I was actually told that even when we're finished the application, if this group can stay meeting together every month or every several months, I thought that was pretty good. You know, and I have the business community, plus I have the nonprofits involved in it, and it's very good to get those ideas out on the table. So I think we may continue that group even past, the sustainability application process. So, pretty good.
Do you want to highlight any of the highlights from the resolution or read it for the record?
Okay, well, the town of Manchester recognizes that there is a significant need for reinvestment and revitalization of certain portions of Manchester. We also propose to designate an area of the town, as outlined on a map that we'll be attaching to the document, as a sustainable community, to adopt the plan and to further describe in the application that we've been referencing. And then the area is located within a priority funding area of smart growth. And then the applicable law and the community legacy program regulations require a local government, us, to submit an application to the department in order to become a designated sustainable community and to adopt a satisfactory sustainable community plan. So we're eligible to receive financial assistance under the community legacy program. And let me just say that this is the area that's really important for funding, for grants, for anything that would come along, whether we're, and to Steve's point, so all the collective efforts of all the leaders from within the town, representative leaders of each entity, public, private, sports, whatever, school, that we're able to then know what everybody needs and desires and wants, as well as what's within our growth plan,
Right.
like our capacity to absorb growth and change, and then we can fit all those into funding strategies as they become available. And so many times with these grants, they'll give you a 3-month window. Well, you don't have time to make a solid presentation without having had some preliminary discussions and intentions on the table. So this is just an excellent, it's really an excellent business plan. And it's not to be confused necessarily with the whole sustainable community that the UN is looking at. It's really looking at the local level of what's the best way to utilize our resources and then to receive funding if funding comes along. And then the town then endorses the designation of this area as a sustainable community. The chief elected executive official is hereby requested to endorse the resolution, and then the city staff, commissions, committees are authorized to execute documents and to take any necessary action to carry out the intent of those resolutions. And then lastly, there's copies that are sent to the Secretary of the Department of Housing and Community Development and of the state of Maryland for consideration by the Smart Growth Sub-Cabinet. So this is really a document moving us to the next step, the next phase, and it's an amazingly quick effort that we've gotten this far this quickly, and
Very positive.
a very encouraging thing I would add, that we've been able to move so quickly on something like this. So thanks to Steve and Michelle and Kelly and everybody doing their due diligence behind the scenes. So.
All right, thank you. That was a outstanding recap, and thank you all for your efforts on that as well. So, as this is a resolution, this is up for adoption tonight. Wanna make a motion?
So I'll make a motion that we accept resolution number 012013 for the town as a sustainable community.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, excellent. Moving right along again, ordinance 213. Steve gave a recap of this at the beginning. We held the public hearing, there were no public comments. Any come in, just for the record, over the past month?
We have not received anything.
Okay. And again, this we talked about this, for several minutes last month. This is really removing our old system where it was, major subdivisions, minor subdivisions, and the town was able to accept a $5,000 in lieu of going out and searching for 2 wells of 50,000 gallons or more, and it really wasn't fair. It was a fine system if someone's going to put in 150 houses. It was not an equitable system for a landowner that owns a lot that's developable for 4 or 5 or 10. So this is something that replaces the old system and really puts the onus on the town to do the water exploration and the development of the wells, but increases on the other side the fee to then pay for that development in a more incremental manner that is really, according to our water study, which we put a lot of effort into, and we can tie back to these numbers. So it ties it to a fee of $14,500 per unit, which is really in line with what it cost us to find the additional water for a unit. So, having been introduced, public hearing, is there a motion to adopt ordinance 214?
213.
213?
213? I say 214, I'm sorry. I'm already looking at the next one.
I'll make a motion, we adopt ordinance 213.
I'll second it.
Motion second, any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Ordinance 214 is getting ahead of myself. Again, Steve introduced. This really has to do with some changes to the zoning code, updating number of units and things that can be used on a given property. Something we've seen, this is not just exclusive to Manchester, but it can happen, again, you have a unit, and it's really kind of on the books for one, and then that turns into multiples, and that really, can have a waterfall effect as multiple units along, a quarter like Main Street or anywhere for that matter, in terms of water planning and sewer planning. So this changes and clarifies some of those housekeeping issues. I know no one spoke today. Similarly to 213, were there any comments that came in from the community over the last month?
No,
Okay. Anybody here to speak on that tonight? I know we're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay. Hearing none, is there a motion to adopt ordinance 214?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 214.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. A lot of business tonight. Steve hinted on this earlier. This is the administrative policy that he talked about during his report. This is something that came as a result of a number of incidents in town where, and Steve really hit on this a lot last month, but particularly some of the older homes and some of the homes that I guess were built during a certain era have what are called pit meters. And pit meters, I guess, is the meter for that water, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is down in the ground as opposed to inside your house.
correct.
So when water pipes break, the town policy has been essentially if it's on the town side of the meter, then you're not responsible for those water charges. If it's on your side of the meter, then you are responsible for those water charges. The town has historically abated the sewer portion of that water usage. So if you have a water leak and tens of thousands of gallons leak out or more, your water bill can really skyrocket. The town has historically abated the sewer charges under, I guess the logic was, if that water's leaking into the ground, the town didn't treat that water.
Correct.
Therefore, there was really no cost associated with the sewer, so we would abate the charges. That being said, we have not historically abated the water charges because the water was pumped from the ground, it was treated, it was sent to your house, made it to the other side of the meter, so that then became your water.
Mhm.
So Steve and I had some discussions, and we wanted to make this a more equitable system because for the residents to have a pit meter, they're going to not necessarily know they have a water leak, right? So if your water meter is on the inside of your house, you're going to figure out, hopefully, sometime between 0 gallons and 100,000 gallons that you have a problem. If the water's in the ground, you might not know. So we have adopted this because the town, we wanted to have a policy that makes sense and is equitable, and we didn't want to unduly punish those that have these pit meters in the ground. So this really changes it to say that the town has the ability to abate both the sewer and the water for houses that have pit meters. Now, if it becomes a habitual thing and some of the responsibility still lies on the homeowner because they still need to get a licensed plumber to fix the system. They're still on the hook for fixing the system because it's their water pipes. But we didn't want to, let's say, put an undue financial burden on those residents and then also not be able to abate that water. So this addresses that and really updates it for those residents.
We are also going to do an education campaign to all of our customers that have pit meters, to make them aware that they are responsible for the pit meter and the meter, We still own the meter, so, but it's their responsibility to make sure that it's insulated, doesn't freeze. We will assist them with that. But I think a lot of our customers do not know that they have a pit meter out near the street. So we want to make them aware of it. We want to do an educational campaign, send them letters once this water billing cycle is finished, and just bring them up to speed on what they actually have out there. So-
Right. Yeah, we really, I mean, we don't want the money for that extra system. We want the system to work well. We want to work with people
Right.
to have it, you know. But, you know, if there's a, you know, we don't want to create a system where there's no disincentive for maintaining your water system at the appropriate level and not fixing a problem. So this we feel like, and Steve really did the heavy lifting on this to come up with the language. We just had some conversations with him. So thank you, Steve, for developing this. But I think that, you know, Steve and I really came to a meeting of the minds that this is a more fair policy than, you know, to people that have pit meters than what we had before.
Is there a way to get rid of the pit meters, to replace them with?
Actually, you can. You can actually have the way our code reads, you can have your meters relocated in the house at your expense, at the homeowner's expense. So that's kind of a double-edged sword there.
Do you know how many people have them?
We probably, I would roughly say about 120 meter pits out there. So, and in some cases, they do work well, especially for long runs. If you have a house that may sit, let's say 100 to 200 yards off the main road, it's perfect because when we go around and read water meters, we know that there's a leak going on because the pit meter is out near the street, so the homeowner has a leak, and that makes sense. We have other installations that it really didn't make any sense why the meter pits were put in. I think they were put in to kind of copy what was done in other jurisdictions where you did not have to go in the house to read the water meter. Because, you know, back in the 60s, I mean, and 70s and early 80s, you know, the readers had to go in the basement to read the meters. Well, with the event of the outside water meter readings, now our operators don't have to go in at all. So that was some of the, you know, some of the reasoning behind that, you know, back in the 60s and 70s. So, but yeah, I think just education. I think a lot of education for the homeowners. I think it'll work well. So.
Okay.
So this is something that would require a council vote for adoption. If there's anybody that feels inclined to make a motion.
I make a motion that we adopt the abatement of sewer charges and pit meter leaks policy as of 7/16/13.
I second.
Motion is second. Any further discussions or questions for Steve? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Laura, did anybody sign up to talk? Anyone that did not sign up have anything to say? Subsequent? It's kind of like school. Like if you have the questions, somebody else probably has the same questions.
Right.
I think I understood you correctly. The meter is the dividing line between the town responsibility and the property owner.
Actually, it's not. The responsibility ends at the curb valve. The curb valve is the dividing point. Everything on the homeowner side of the curb valve is the responsibility of the homeowner. Everything from the curb valve out to the street belongs to the town. So let's say there is a leak at your business, and the town comes out, and we actually close the curb valve, and the leak stops. Okay, that means that the leak is on your side of the curb valve. So when we open it back up, we'll hear the leak, so it's somewhere on your property. So the actual dividing line is the curb valve.
So when that valve is off and there still is a leak, how do you detect that leak?
If it's still leaking, we'll hear it with our equipment, so we know it's on out either at the water main out in the street, or it could be right at the curb valve on the town side.
Okay,
Yep.
that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Reports. Councilman Smith, do you have anything to report on?
I went to the meeting on August 8th for the communications, and the only thing that really was discussed was the franchise renewal update. It's progress. They said hopefully in the next couple months they'll have it settled, but that's really all that was discussed there.
Okay. Councilman Black?
There wasn't a planning and zoning meeting this time, or won't be for August. So Michelle was attending some meetings about some updates in the town, and then there may be one in September.
Okay. Then, of course, we talked earlier about the Sustainability Task Force.
Yeah.
Councilman Howard?
I haven't been to a meeting yet because I've been on vacation all summer. But I plan to attend the September one and start monthly, if you can tell me where it is and what time.
Okay. I'd rather be on vacation with you.
My vacation is all summer, sorry.
Oh. Anything else from the general board?
I just wondered, did Steve cover this? If there's any update?
Steve, the Victory Street property, is that something you want to?
Yes, actually, I was in communication with the property owner yesterday, and I mentioned it to the mayor. He would like to sit down with the mayor and council members and discuss the property, because I think he may want to accept our proposal. So, and that would be a plus. So I believe in the very beginning, he's been on vacation overseas, and I think once we schedule something in the next several weeks with him, we can sit down at the table and discuss that property. So I had a good feeling about when I was talking to him about it. So that would be a plus. Yeah.
So
Thank
more
you.
to come on that.
Progress.
Okay. Anything else?
I'd like to wish Steve Miller happy birthday today.
Is it your birthday?
Unfortunately, it is.
All right.
Happy 60th.
Thanks.
That's a payback for the
Yeah,
what you did.
it is, yeah. Well, you know what, we left something slip, and I don't have it, we don't have it right. But you celebrated your 20th anniversary here a few months ago.
I did.
Yes, you did, yes.
Wow.
So 20 years,
Congratulations.
yeah.
Are we
We'll have
allowed to
that
give you
pro-
guys cakes, or is that against the
Oh,
rules?
there's a cake right there.
Steve likes apple pie.
What's that?
Steve likes
Yeah.
apple pie.
Yeah.
Steve likes apple pie and fishing. We
Yes,
found that out
yes,
tonight.
that's right.
Apple pie, that's it, apple
There
pie.
you go.
We're going to have to get our ethics expert in here.
Yeah. I'll have
Determine
to
if we're allowed to
sign
share
a,
apple pie together.
Ethics forms.
Yeah, well, that's coming up for next month.
Okay, 4 meetings set for next month already.
Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn?
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good night.
You're gonna go to the Sheets one also. You're gonna do Sheets meeting.
The sheets meeting.
We did.
On the 9th.
How's it going?